I just wanted to figure out my lighting. I didn't want it to be too professional looking because I did my makeup earlier and I just hated the way that I looked so badly. But I think this might work. Okay, I'm trying to up the ISO. I keep using the wrong terminology. But hey y'all, I'm gonna hope my camera is gonna be very raw. I'll see which video I end up keeping because I tried to record this earlier and like I said, I literally hated how I looked. I'm sure I probably still look pretty crazy because my makeup is coming off under my eye because I've been crying a little bit. But hey y'all, it's your girl Sho, and today I wanted to talk about how I feel after it being 6 years since my mom passed away. And I wanted to talk about it because it's been 6 years ago yesterday's date, January 10th, and today's the 11th. So yeah, I just wanted to talk about my experience losing my mom and kind of just give hope and encouragement, but again, just share my personal experience because I know that death is something that is a part of life. However, everyone deals with it differently. And earlier when I was talking about it, I just felt like I was getting really emotional. I think in general, I'm a very emotional. I don't even know if I would call myself emotional. I would just say I experience emotions very intensely. That's what I like to say. But yeah, like it's been 6 years since my mom passed away. Time definitely heals you. If this is, something you've never experienced, like time definitely helps with the loss of a loved one. But I would say I'm handling it well. It's been 6 years, so I've had a lot of time with myself, with my thoughts about how I feel about it. I think today, and just as I've healed, I feel okay with it. Of course, I'm so sad. Of course, I'm so heartbroken, but I'm able to really just be okay with it because when I think about all that my mom had been through, as a person, like I remember a lot of the stories that my mom has shared with me about her life growing up in Jamaica and just even her experience here living in the United States, all the things she went through when she worked, different abuse that she's endured, her mental health, her physical health, learning about her getting cancer and just knowing like what my mom went through, but also seeing it with my own eyes, like remembering things that I witnessed that she went through. It's like I'm okay with knowing that she's no longer suffering. Like that's how I cope, because she really went through so much, literally just so much. And I think in life, like we all go through a lot as well, as people. But honestly, like I'm okay with it because knowing like what my mom went through, like she really went through so much. And so I'm just happy to know that she's no longer suffering because I think if you're a religious person or if you're a spiritual person, you know that when you live on earth, earth is a place of suffering. People go through so many ups and downs, so many trials and tribulations in life. And I mean, it's a part of life, but truly the only time that you have your peace, like aside from like when you go to sleep, but even then, like if you're if you're alive and you go to sleep, like sometimes you be getting tormented in your dreams, like the suffering still finds you in your dreams. So honestly, I can just say that truly death is the only time that you have I guess freedom and like peace, like true peace and just bliss is in death. It's like when you are no longer tied to your physical body, when you are in spirit. And also in spirit, your spirit lives on forever to infinity for an eternity. So if you believe in like your spirituality, and if you believe in, God or the universe or just whatever you believe, you know that when you die, you go to an eternal paradise or just whatever you believe. Like there's peace, there's bliss, there's freedom. And that's honestly how I cope. Like I said, that's how I'm able to like lead and live my life. Of course, I miss her so much. Like, in the last video that I recorded, I was saying like, I just know that my mom was still here. She would love my nephew to the ground, and all of my nieces and nephews who she hasn't, the ones that she didn't get a chance to know, like I'm sure she would just love them so much. And like, I'm sad that like one day if I ever have a family, like my future partner will never have gotten to know her. Like if I have a family, like if I have children, like they would have never gotten to know my mom. And when it came to kids, like my mom just loved kids so much. So that's something that like makes me sad. Like when I think about it, 'cause I'm like, damn, like I would love for like my future family to know like who my mom was. And all I have are just like the memories and the stories to just share that with them. That's the part that makes me sad, is like they'll, you know, not get the chance to get to know her. And of course, like I've been going through a lot of things recently that I'm sure if my mom was here, like physically, like she could hug me. Like that's something that I miss from her. Like she used to always hug me so tight and just, you know, loved on me. And I feel like we didn't have a perfect relationship by any means, but you know, at the end of the day, that was my mom. And so I definitely like remember like those times where she would hug me or like would be trying to hug me. And like, you know, there were times I wasn't the most enthusiastic about it because I'm just like, oh my gosh, like this lady just wants to hug me. But now I'm like, yeah, like I miss her hug so much. And I would say another reason I'm able to cope with like being okay and knowing that she's not here anymore is because when she passed away, I was really adamant about getting myself into therapy. I specifically got myself into grief counseling, which then turned into me being in therapy for 5 years. And I lost my mom when I was 23, so now I'm 29. And I can honestly say that without therapy, because I had it, I can't tell you where I would be today if it wasn't for therapy. Like I'm 100% sure the reason that I'm okay is because I was in therapy when I lost her. So literally I lost her early in the new year of 2019. And then I'm pretty sure I started therapy like just a couple weeks after I lost her. So I was in therapy like late January, most likely. And then I was in therapy all the way up until May of 2024. And so I learned so many things in therapy, especially like while I was grieving my mom. One of the things that, you know, if you haven't gone through a loss, you'll go through the stages of grief, which in those stages, it's 5 stages. But in each stage, it's not linear. So it's like sometimes you may go through a stage, but then you may like backtrack and you may grow some more, and then you'll go back, and then finally maybe you'll, you know, go over that hurdle and then finally get into the acceptance stage, which I've pretty much accepted my mother's death. Like I made peace with that. I'm okay. I'm not like bargaining. I was in the bargaining stage for so long. It's when you just wish you could go back in time. And, you know, you think of all the times where like you don't feel like you were there for that person. And I really felt that strongly. At times I dealt with a lot of guilt. But eventually I did get to that stage of acceptance, which is so amazing to get to, because honestly, death is a part of life. And so when you are able to get through it, it's like all you can do is use this moment to direct how you move forward in your life. So when I lost my mom, it completely changed who I was to my core as a person. It changed my lens on the world and how I viewed everything and how I viewed my relationships with people. I found that I no longer wanted to try to control things. Then, before losing my mom, I was like such a like control freak. I thought I could just try to mold people to what I wanted. And I'm not saying like I'm perfect now. Like there's aspects of myself where I feel like if I can control something, I'm gonna make sure I control it. But everything else, I'm more so like it's up to whatever happens. Like it is what it is. Like I'm not here to control people. I'm not here to force things. The only thing I can control is myself, my thoughts, my feelings. So that's what I focus on. But losing my mom, I just feel like I have a lot less resistance to things happening because that wasn't by choice. That was something that I had to like, you know, grow to accept. So in the long run, it definitely have served me, you know, moving forward in my life as an adult later on in life, of course. So I don't have like a lot of resistance for stuff. Hey y'all, editing show here. So at this point in the video, I completely forgot to add another huge important thing about losing my mom, that at the time I felt like it propelled me to be more this way. I totally remember when I lost my mom, I had friends in my life and I had, you know, my family who I tried to facilitate a stronger relationship with. So that looked like me reaching out to people more. When I spent time with people, I would always thank them for like hanging out with me. I'd be like, oh, I'm so glad that we got to hang out. I really enjoyed the time that we shared, or I just really had a blast hanging out with you today, or whatever. I would always say that after I was finished hanging out with my friends or just like people that I love, my loved ones. And not to say that I can't remember how I was before too much. I'm sure I've kind of always been this way, but I feel like it amplified my need to share how grateful I was for the time that I spent with people, because at that time when I lost my mom, I realized how time is so short. Like we don't have forever with our loved ones. So anytime that I got with the people that I cared about, I just made it a habit to let them know that I appreciated them and that I really enjoyed my time. So that's just one more thing that I wanted to add. And please, not too much on me. I know I look crazy, but I did want to put this in here too. I'm not sad when things end when it comes to people. Not saying I don't feel the hurt, but I'm not sad so much because, listen, like I've lost the most important person in my life, quite literally. Like my mom, like she birthed me. She was the most important person in my life. You know, aside from like, you know, the other people in my family, like my dad is still here. I have my siblings, but like my mom was a very important person in my life. So everybody else in life, like if you don't want to be here, you don't have to be here. I'm not going to force anybody to be here. And it's not saying that I don't feel hurt, like if something doesn't work out with, you know, people in my life, like friends, relationships, things like that. But it's like I'm only concerned with what I can actually control. And I feel like this is a good place to be. Like if you're not here yet, definitely try to get there. Like if it wasn't for this experience, I can't say that I would have gotten here at this young age. Like I'm speaking about it at 29, but like when I was 23, 24, 25, like I was changed. Like I was a different person than like the people around me. Like, and eventually I will say that certain friendships that I had no longer worked based on just different lessons in life that I was learning at that age. And like I think anybody who is that age and then years later, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about because you would have gone through the stuff that I'm talking about. I do think every part of life, it doesn't happen for everyone the same. So the lessons that I learned at 23, 24, 25, and even now 29, because I talk to my aunt a lot, my mom's sister, who was the closest sister out of all her siblings. And she tells me that like, like, wow, like you know a lot. Like you have a lot of experiences that people even my age don't learn, or like they're still not there yet. And I'm just like, it's crazy. Oh my gosh, is that an eye booger? Have I been talking this whole time with an eye booger? Ew. Y'all know how I feel about these eyes. I don't know. But yeah, y'all, I don't even know. I feel like this video is a lot shorter than the one that I had recorded, and I feel a lot better about what I'm saying. But yeah, y'all, I'm not gonna say that losing a loved one isn't hard. It's definitely hard. I feel like it's been 6 years, and I can't say that, like, I can't say that 20 years from now am I gonna feel any less hurt about losing my mom, because it had such an impact on my life. Like, I feel like I'm gonna miss her for the rest of my life. Like, literally, I'm gonna miss her forever. I know she's here in spirit, but there's nothing like the love of your mother. Like, the tenderness, the just unconditional love. Like, I remember living in my apartment where I live now, and just whenever I've been sick as an adult, like literally my mom used to take care of me like I was a baby still, when I was, like, you know, a young adult, like 18 up until like 23. She took care of me. Even when I was sick, I remember, like, she would come in my room, make sure I was fed, give me medicine, rub my head, hug me. You know, she loved me. And it's just like, I don't know. It's like when you don't have that anymore, it's just crazy, because, like, I live a very isolated life. I'm alone a lot. Like, I've endured so much loneliness. Ever since I lost my mom, I've endured so much loneliness, because I literally used to live with my mom in our apartment together, and I still had to live in the apartment after she passed away until I found a new place to live. And I can't tell you, like, it was so strange, like, living there. It wasn't scary. It was just like, it was just so weird. Like, I just felt so, like, this just feels so weird, like, because I used to hear her in her room, like, coughing, sneezing. You know, she would talk to her sister. I would hear her voice. I would hear her breathing, like, snoring, whatever. And, like, when I still had to live in that apartment, it was just, like, so crazy not to hear anything. It was just so quiet. Like, it was just so weird. And since then, like, living on my own, I had to grow to, like, be accustomed to, like, being by myself, because I was with my mom up until age 23. Like, I lived with her. And then it was, like, interesting, like, adjusting to living alone by myself. And I've been living by myself for 6 years now. So it took, like, a very interesting adjustment for me. I have to accept, like, I'm just gonna look crazy in this video a bit, but that's okay. But yeah, it took an adjustment. And, you know, I had friends during the time of when I lost my mom, and I felt like at the time, you know, they were there for me as much as, you know, people can be there for you. I definitely had a support system, but I won't say that, like, I got everything that I needed from everyone. I felt like at that time of my life, I wasn't very close to a lot of people in my family, to be honest with you. Like, it's just crazy. Like, the death of my mom actually brought me closer to my family. My sister, who may have showed up here and there in a couple of vlogs, my nephew's mother, my sister, I didn't have a relationship with her until my mom died. Like, we didn't have a good relationship growing up. We didn't have a strong relationship growing up with each other. But I will say, in losing my mom, I was able to grow a relationship with her that became stronger over the years. And, you know, I was able to become closer with my aunt. So I really believe that everything happens for a reason. Even though sometimes things may hurt, like, I always am able to find, like, I'm grateful that this still happened to me, because it propelled my life in a totally crazy direction. Like, losing my mom made me change my diet. Like, I would still be eating meat if it wasn't for losing my mom. I'm not gonna hold y'all, like, I will eat meat in a different country, just not from the United States of America. I'm just gonna throw that out there. But I've been a pescatarian for 6 years because of you know, losing my mom. Wow, I look so crazy. I'm still gonna post this because I feel like this could be very helpful for someone. And yeah, I just kind of wanted to share my experience, how it was for me losing my mom, and just like where I'm at with the, you know, where I'm at in life when it comes to like something like this, where, what am I trying to say? I just wanted to share my experience on, you know, what it's like losing a loved one. Like, it's such a huge heartbreak, especially a parent. Oh, another thing that I wanted to add about me losing my mom was just, I don't think I would have been able to see her as her own person if it wasn't for her death also. Or I don't know, maybe I would have if I got older with her still alive, but I think it just happened faster that I was able to see that, oh, like my mom was her own person. Like she was her own young woman. Like I remember like when she passed away and I had to like clean up the home and like figure out what was being kept, what was being thrown out. And I like went through her stuff and I found like letters, like handwritten letters that she wrote, or just like her medical documents, and like seeing like her bra and her underwear, her perfume, her jewelry, her clothes. Like my mom had so much clothes that I had to like sort through and figure out like where this stuff was going. And just like seeing like, yo, like my mom was her own person. She wasn't just my mom. Like she had her own life as well. And I think like as you get older, you naturally will like realize this about your parents. But like when I was that age, I literally just was like, that's my mom. Like I just didn't see her as her own person. And so I think in her death, I was able to appreciate her being an individual, and also realize that like obviously no one's life is perfect. We all go through things, but like my mom gave me her best, which was all she knew. Was it perfect? No, absolutely not. But at the end of the day, whatever I got from my mom, that's what her best looked like. That's what she knew. That's what she knew how to do. And I'm just appreciative. Like I still learn and I still got some really good values from her. Standards, you know, a sense of like, you know, style. I feel like my mom was really stylish and she had taste. And in her death, I was able to like also learn that about her. But yeah, yeah, I just wanted to share my experience because I've not talked a lot about my life personally, like, you know, when it comes to like stuff like this, like the sadder things, I guess you could say. I've talked a lot about like dating and like relationship stuff, type stuff, even though I've never been in a relationship, but like, yeah. But if you go back, one of my first vlogs that are still up from like years ago, literally years ago, that's when I was actually going through the loss of my mom. Like I think I vlogged very little about everything, and I talked very little about it because it was something that was so sensitive for me, and I wasn't sure if I wanted to put that on the internet, but I was still kind of talking about it in like code. But I did reference like I was losing my mom, and it was so sad. Like I was just so young, and you could just hear how young I sound in that video. But it's up. If you go all the way back, you'll see what I was talking about. I was trying to figure out how to cope, not in the most healthy ways, but I was trying to figure it out. And I just wanted to share my experience so that like no matter what age you are, like you'll know what it's like, or like just hearing someone's perspective and like how it shaped them moving forward. Because something like losing a loved one, but specifically like a mom, like it really changes your view on life. I feel like it's made me so strong. I feel like it's made me so resilient, and I'm just grateful that I'm here, like still pushing through all of life's crazy things. And yeah, that's literally it. That's literally my experience that I just wanted to talk about. I hope this is able to help someone. I hope this is able to encourage and shine light. And yeah, that's just what I wanted to talk about. Definitely subscribe. Definitely don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel if you want to experience more of me. But yeah, that's gonna be it. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.